Hey guys, thanks for joining me for another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video, and today the hypeness is here. We've got our boy Rubicante ready to go. We just maxed him out live on stream. We are live streaming here the character guide. If you guys are new to my channel and you're watching this video after the fact, just so you know, I do live streams periodically for new characters, especially like the really hype ones. So if you want to see the character guides early, you get to see it live as I record it. Otherwise, you're free to check them out later when they go up on my channel. So our boy Rubicante just dropped, and for those of you unfamiliar with him, he is a fire damage, magic damage dealer, but he is a counter tank, and counter tanks are incredibly busted in this game. If you haven't seen any of my videos, you definitely want to check out the videos on counter tanks. Well, this one itself will be a video on a counter tank, so you're going to see kind of how busted this is. So in this video, we're going to look at his calls, we're going to look at his artifacts and his spheres. And then we're going to hop into a little character showcase and explain how his kit works, right? So, first up, his calls are actually really solid. So his 15 call is Fire Aga. This is going to be like a party battery with like AoE damage. But the big thing it does is for the caller gets attack and max brave up, brave damage minus 50%. So that's a lot of brave damage reduction, and HP damage minus 40%. So like for the caller, they're going to be very well protected with this on. And then the enemies will get fire imperiled, so they'll get fire resist down. Now on the LD, which is called Soul's called? Yeah, I think Soul's called. This one here is also going to do a group fire attack. And then this one, what's really significant about this one's party buffs. So this is party fire enchant, brave damage taken down, and HP damage taken down. And then, the enchant and brave damage taken, that might only be for himself, actually. I'll have to double check that. Actually, it should say right here. No, it is party. I was right. Okay. So it is party fire enchant, brave damage taken down, very, very good, and then HP damage taken down, and then in imperil. So the reason why this is so valuable is because elemental party enchants are very, very good to have on calls, because there will be times when you want to deal a specific element to an enemy, or a time that you just want weakness damage out of a character. Most notably, you want it to help with force gauges, because there will be force gauges that might call for that element, but you want to use a party member that doesn't do it, but you want to increase the gauge. Calls are a great way to do that. So just the fact that he has, once again, a lot of defensive tech in here, and then he's also got the fire enchant, I think it's very good. It's actually a very good call. But let's all be honest, you're not summoning for this boy for the call. You want him in the party. And he's going to be quite amazing. Those of you that are have played for even a little bit of time know that we talk about characters like Gladio a lot. We talk about Oron. We talk about even 8, Edge, all these counter tank characters. They are so good. And the reason why this is significant is we've got that basically a Gladio level insane character, but he's a BTFR character. Very modern with insane stats. He's going to be crazy, right? So let's go ahead and look at Rubicante himself here and see what we got for artifacts and his spheres, right? So his artifacts, I do not have them yet. I literally just got this guy, so haven't even had a chance to farm him yet. But what you're going to want here is you're going to want attack 108 and then a C50 passive, which is called Warrior of Flame up. That is going to give him attack and max brave up. So with counter characters, one, you want attack because you want to deal damage, but then you also really want brave damage. So brave damage I would really emphasize on a character like this that's doing a lot of counter hits, right? So with that being said, let's go into the spheres. And so on the A slot, you want to focus on attack and brave damage. Brave damage I would say maybe weighs a little bit heavier than attack for me, just because you want that counter damage. I really like Rydia here, so eventually I want to put a full one on. But this is going to do brave damage and attack when you're dealing weakness damage. I would also like to shout out 7, because 7 is a weakness damage trigger that does brave damage. I think that one is also a very good one you can put there. And then on the B slot, so you have a few different options here. But I decided to go with Zac here. I think Zac is going to be very good. I like the idea of Zac because when you're being targeted, which Rubicante is a lock-based character, so he's going to lock enemies onto himself. And this is going to give him brave gaining, which means that as he's attacking, when he's attacking an enemy targeting him, he's going to get a little bit more brave gain to help his damage look a little bit better. I kind of like that there, right? Now, you could do something like, if you want more attack, then you could go like Gladio or Bosch. Those have attack passives on them that would give Rubicante more attack. So feel free to do one of those if you like those better as well. And then on the C slot, his C slot is kind of interesting. So now the typical route here would be to go like party attack up. So that would be like Maria, Lude, and Alphanod. Those are like your party attack C slots. But I actually really like the idea of giving him a healing sphere because he's a counter character. And so I'm going to give him Minwu. And I actually had a full Minwu just chilling. But one, its weakness damages the trigger on it, which not every character has weakness damage. And then it's party HP restoration of 5% of his max HP once per turn. So when he counters, he's going to be healing, which I think is very good because that's something he does have healing in his kit, but it's not on the counters. Well, now I've got healing on the counters because of that, which I think is going to be really, really good. So that's what I'm going to recommend there. If you want to go more attack, though, you could go like Garnet. Garnet could be a decent attack one if you want to buff his own attack. You definitely could do that as well. And then 9 is another healing one, but it only heals himself. So I kind of like Minwu better because it's like party heal. So that's what I'm going with there. I'm going with Rydia, Zac, and Minwu. I like that setup. I think it's going to be pretty good there. My boy is 100% totally maxed out. We got Ultima Weapon. We got Blue Armor. BT's green. I set up his skills. Everything's good. Force Enhanced 30. So I think we are about ready to hop in. So let's get to it. I know this is what you've all been waiting for to see how crazy this guy can be. Yeah, so let's go for it. Let's hop in. So we're on a very specific fight here. And what I'm going to do is I think I might bring a Force Charger. Let's bring... The problem is I don't want to like do something that's going to be crazy over. Do I not have any Force Chargers on the friends list? Like, what is this? Oh, I got Charlotta. Okay. So Charlotta could work as a Force Charger. Sure, I guess we're going to bring this Charlotta friend because I want a Force Charger. All right, let's go ahead and hop in. Okay, I guess we'll download stuff. Now this one, the bosses should attack right away, so we should start to see something. The one thing to note about Rubicante, because you may want to use him with like Gladio or like other lock characters. Well, Gladio's actually a cover tank, but let's see what happens here. Like stuff's going to happen right away. Let's just watch. We haven't even pressed the button yet. Let's see what happens. Counter Fire. And there you saw the small heal that we got from the sphere, right? Damage wasn't crazy there yet, but we've hardly even gotten going. And the thing that you'll know, like with these counter characters, it's not like they do like crazy damage when they do a hit, but they do a lot of hits. And it happens over time, and he's going to be really tanky. Now, the one really cool thing to note about Rubicante, he is a lock tank. So what that means is he puts lock on the enemies, so that the enemies will always target him. The thing that's unique about his lock, it's an aura. So it's not an actual buff that you'll see on the enemies. So one is it can't be dispelled. It can't be taken off. And two, his lock will override other locks. So if you're running another locking character and they do single target, they're still going to target Rubicante. So you could kind of mix and match him with other lock characters if you want to. But if they're counter characters, the one thing for team building is, like if you wanted to say run him and Gladio and like somebody else and like Oron, it's really hard for that to work because like all the characters need to be hit, and on anything single target, only one character is going to be hit. So even if they're targeting Rubicante, well, Gladio's going to jump in front and take the hit, and then he'll counter, and then Rubicante wouldn't necessarily counter. So what I'm going to do just for this team build, I'll play around with him more and experiment with different team comps, but I'm going to do a trap-based setup. So the traps won't interfere with his countering. He's going to counter everything. We're going to try it that way. And plus, Trey is on his banner, so they're showcasing him because he does work really, really well with Rubicante, right? So I'm going to do something kind of interesting here. I'm going to bring in Charlotta, and I'm just going to force charge a bunch. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to grind out some charging, and then I'm actually going to do a Rubicante BT phase immediately. Now, I don't recommend you go into his BT phase immediately, but I think for the showcase setting, it's really good because the way this character is going to work is he's going to be like very slow and let the enemies take turns. And what I want to do for the showcase is just use his BT effect right away, so I can just go through all of his skills and we can cover the kit. And then what we'll do is then we'll go into like the normal fight and kind of play it out from there and see how this guy's doing, right? All right, so Charlotta is going to charge us up. All right, so back to Rubicante. So yes, I just want to make sure my skill order is all pretty good here. All right. So let's go ahead and let's just hop into the actual burst mode. And then we're just going to kind of go through his kit and kind of explain everything as we go. So let's just start at the top. And we'll just start with Fire Aga. So let's just see what the damage looks like here. I don't think his damage is crazy, by the way, on turn. But let's see. Okay, yeah, like 500k AoE, not crazy. But once again, that's not what he's here for. So Fire Aga is a party battery. It does an AoE fire attack. And then he gets a buff called Face Me at full strength. So face me at full strength is attack up, max brave up, brave damage taken down, HP damage taken down. This provides the lock aura. And then he has last stand, which as long as he's above 50% HP, he will live with 1 hit point. And then something else that happens in his kit from a different buff is if he goes below 50%, he auto heals himself back up to 50. So this man is very hard to kill. We'll just say that. And then this buff that he gets from this also is what gives him the counter fire, which we already saw. So that's the 15. The 35 is called Absorb Blizzara. This is kind of wild. Let's just see here. Yes. So on top of being like an insane counter tank, my boy is also a force charger. So Absorb Blizzara is actually a force charging move. It's an instant turn brave gain, heals himself, extends his own buffs by 1 turn, and he gets a free turn. So the thing that's really good about this for spamming for like force charging is that it's extending his buffs every time he uses it, so his buffs don't wear down. So you can just spam it and force charge. So I technically didn't even need to like, well, I can still use it even though I brought in the friend unit, but the friend unit wasn't as important because he does his own force charging, which is pretty wild. So that's the 35. Let's go ahead and pop the EX. Sure, this is called Inferno. See what the damage looks like on this bad boy. Once again, we're getting all that healing because of the sphere. I like it. Okay, 600k. Once again, his damage isn't crazy. Here's the other thing too. Normally when I do a showcase, I'm running him like these characters with like BT auras and stuff and like good support characters. Maria and Trey, they are not like support characters. So keep in mind, this is kind of like raw damage without like a lot of auras. So his numbers are going to look a lot lower. But the reason I want to show this guy in this type of team comp where like the traps are going to go crazy. So I think he would be hitting much better numbers if I had BT auras and stuff, right? And he doesn't have his own BT auras up yet either. So the EX Inferno, AoE fire brave damage, does a brave gain. He does get a skill use of his skill 1 and skill 2. So if we go back up here, yeah, we got a Fire Aga back, so that's very, very good. Or sorry, just restores a skill 1, not a skill 2. So he did get a Fire Aga back from that. And then he gets the Face Me at Full Strength buff, which is that first buff we talked about. And he gets another buff called Rubicante, Autarch of the Flame. And then that buff is an attack up, overflow stolen up, overflow gained up, brave damage up, and HP damage up. So a lot of good things on that buff. And then this also imperils. Fire Aga also imperils. So he's got Fire Imperil on like almost all of his attacks. And then let's go ahead and we will pop the LD. This is called Soul Scald. Okay, about 780k. Not too shabby. I think in a proper BT setup, like with auras, he's probably hitting at least a mil on that, which is fine, right? Once again, that's not what he's here for. He's not, his on-turn damage isn't crazy. It's for the other stuff. So he does fire AoE attack, brave gains. He gets a free ability use on his next turn. So you can see here, I could tap Fire Aga twice. So what I could do is like during the burst phase, had I not used the Absorb Blizzara, I could use the LD and then I could have spammed that twice and got a little bit more force charging. But that's totally fine. So then, let's see. And then he gets a buff called Strongest of the 4 Archfiends. This buff is a party overflow up, HP damage up, fire enchant to the party, brave damage taken down, and HP damage taken down. So that's very good. And that's what's on the call that I thought was very impressive. So that LD buff is actually very, very good. And then fire imperils the enemies because pretty much all of his attacks are doing it, right? All right, so next, let's just pop the AA, I guess. Just so I can say that I used it. Sure, let's just pop the AA. This isn't anything too crazy. It just reduces HP damage taken and then brave damage dealt by the party up. So that's good. So sure, we'll pop it just so we have it up. HP damage taken down is actually very good. And then sure, let's pop the FR attack. This is going to have General Leo. I'll go over what the FR does when I use the actual FR attack. We'll do that outside of burst phase. For now, we'll just look at the damage here. Okay, 1.5 mil. That's like pretty normal for force damage. And then we'll pop the BT, and we're definitely going to talk about what this does. This is a nasty, nasty BT aura this guy's got. We're going to see some crazy things happening real soon here. See, the thing is you might be watching this and be like, why is he so hyped? He hasn't really done that much damage. Well, we haven't really seen what he does yet. We just went through that burst phase just so I could get through all of the attacks. So the BT is called Gurion be its name. And the burst effect is for 8 turns, and it is a party brave damage up, brave damage limit up, HP damage limit up, and it gives him counter Fire Aga. So what this is a separate counter. So he has counter Fire and counter Fire Aga. So he's getting double counters. And we've seen with Minwoo how ridiculous double counters are, or double traps, right? It's really, really good. And so these counter attacks, they're doing AoE attacks, they're doing Brave Gains, they're doing Party Battery, they're doing Fire in Peril. So they're doing what you want. So we're going to kind of see that. So let's let Trey do some stuff here. So let's go ahead and put some debuffs on. And then we're going to have Trey pop Firewall. And then what I'm going to do with Rubicante is probably Force Charge into his Force Time. And then hopefully the enemies will just go crazy, right? Sure, let's put some Dynamite Arrows on. Just load up on the traps. And then Maria's definitely going to load up on some traps. Okay, and then Rubicante, he's got the BT effect. We've got all that stuff up. He's going to extend his buffs. Oh, but his BT effect... Huh. I actually am not. I'm just going to do a regular attack. Because he will lose his BT aura. So I want to be careful about that. So sure, let's just pop an LD. Alright, now let's watch him cook a little bit. We're going to take on some attacks here. And then by the next time he comes up, I think we're going to be ready to go. And then Maria's healing off turn. Yep. See, I don't want him to get hit with... see, I was worried about that. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. That's the one tick with this fight, is that other side enemy does like to confuse. We cannot counter when we're confused. So we're not doing a good job of making our boy look good. And I was testing out this fight earlier, and I did think about that. But what I did bring... is on Maria's next turn, we're going to put a Raijin call on, which makes it so that guy can't confuse us. Let's go ahead and do this. And then, yeah, we have to skip a Rubicante turn, so this is going to be a little bit delayed. That's the one thing with this fight being like... The one thing that makes this not the perfect fight is that stupid confuse. And I definitely could have given him like maybe a Lena call or something to just prevent that. That's probably what I should have done. But we'll just see. Like, once again, we're missing all the counters now because he's confused. Such a bummer. I knew it was going to happen. I even did like a practice run of this fight and I used Gladio in his spot. But the thing is Gladio, like, I think he negates confuse. So, like, yeah, it was a bummer. All right. So, Maria, we're going to put Raijin on. And then we got to wait for Rubicante's turn to come around again. All right. So, we did that. Sure, we can just do this. All right, and then Rubicante, and then at least he'll start countering after he misses his turn here. I want y'all just to see those BT counters. All right. There we go. Now double counters, and this one's really strong. Yeah, dude, 600k on a counter is absolutely wild. All right, it's time. Let's pop the FR. That actually worked out really well. Let's pop this sucker here. Now, he's going to do something crazy. I'm going to kind of watch. We saw this attack with General Leo. But yeah, we'll talk about this force attack in just a second. I just got to see the damage here again. All right, yeah, now we're at like 2 mil. Because we got like a BT aura up, right? Okay, so let's talk about this force. So it did a big AoE attack. He gets Face Me at full strength, which is that same buff we talked about. So during the force time effect, his turn rate is down 50%. So he lowers his own turn rate. So look at the turn counter at the bottom. We only see Trey and Maria. We can't even see Rubicante. This is really good because these types of characters, you don't want them to have turns. And the less turns he has, his BT effect can't run out. So the enemies are just going to impale themselves on all these counter Fire Agas. Someone had made the comment with like Minwoo, right? Minwoo does teleport, which deletes enemies' turns. Someone had made a good comment. Well, what if Minwoo deleted your own turns? And I actually would love that in one of these defense characters. This is kind of what he's doing. He's pushing himself back, right? He's delaying himself. And then his Brave and HP damage are increased. And then this force effect is what heals him up to 50% HP if he goes below that. Now, his HP damage bonus conditions. If Rubicante is attacked, 40% off turn. If he's attacked, which with lock, he will always be attacked. If a fire ability is done on your own turn, 10%, and fire off turn is 5%. So we're going to be getting 5% off turn ticks from the traps, while Rubicante being hit is going to be 40, plus his counters. Let's just watch it. It's going to be crazy. Let's go ahead and do some raining arrows. All right, and let's watch these enemies go crazy and kill themselves. Okay, and we'll watch the gauge. So there's 5% for Maria's. Okay, attack Rubicante. 40% because Rubicante was attacked. Now we get double counters. So 5% for that counter. We're going to get 5% for this counter. So that's how these teams work. They're small ticks, but you get a lot of them. Now, as these enemies get aggressive and start doing a lot of crazy stuff, we're going to get tons of ticks very quickly. And keep in mind, Rubicante is an echo. So when he actually does get a turn, we can echo that. What are we going to do with you? Sure, let's just do this and make sure our traps are upkept. And keep in mind, they're all doing fire damage, right? Because they're enchanted. So we got 18% on turn. Arrows off turn, 5%. So that's why we're getting all the off turn ticks, is because these are non-elemental characters that are being enchanted for fire, right? I think Trey's got to get his LD trap back up. 40% and then double counters. So literally when Rubicante gets attacked, it's actually like 50%. Because we're getting 40 and then we're getting 2 counters. And so the gauge is just going to ramp up. And this is what we love. We love when they cut in turn order. We love when they take a bunch of turns. That's why I like showcasing on this fight. Ultimecia just loves to steal turns. And this is where it kind of goes auto mode, right? Like if you guys have seen these defense comp videos before, we just kind of go auto mode for a while and then let them attack us. And yeah, we're just like not taking damage. Rubicante blowing up. Unfortunately, that's the one bad part, is when we get breaks, then we'll sometimes break in front. That's the only bad part. Yeah, now we got the... Dude, firewall for a mill. Pretty good. You know what? Let's firewall again. Those firewalls, like Ultimecia burns through it really quick, so we'll just reapply it. I like those firewalls. And then Maria keeping us held up. I mean, this is a nice little team we got going here. Now, keep in mind, we're doing all of this, and Rubicante hasn't had a turn since his initial FR press. So, that's the one bad part. I wish they couldn't be broken. That would be really nice. I haven't obviously tried a Shinryu fight, but if his fight, if the enemies can't be broken, or if they can be broken but they can't be pushed back, that would be ideal. So Maria, sure. Oh yeah, explosive bow. That's another trap. We'll take that. Yeah, and we're just getting, like, they're going to die really quick. I don't know that we're going to get the full force gauge because these counters are hitting very heavy. Let's see what the damage here does on these counters. We're at 500%, by the way. Let's see what this is. Counter Fire Aga at 500%. Yeah, like 3 mil, dude. 3 mil AoE on a counter. It's pretty dang good. And now we can echo. So sure, let's echo. So this will not count as a force turn. And now this attack's going to be hitting pretty hard. And you definitely will not need 2 force times with team builds with this, because you're going to be using this in aggressive fights. Yeah, 10 mil on that. Yep, cut and turn order. We love it. Please continue to kill yourself. I'm going to tell you this right now. Rubicante's not getting another turn. This fight's over. This fight's already over. Our guy got like, what, 3 turns or something? And this fight is over. So I do think Rubicante is a character you can do solo or duo runs in. And actually some people say he operates better because the other characters just kind of get in the way. and you know, you take up more turns. Rubicante just pushes himself back, and then, yeah, he can just sit there while the enemies go crazy. Sure, we'll firewall again. Annoying Trey getting in the way and taking a turn, right? So look forward to when I get a Shinryu up, I do want to attempt maybe a solo run. We'll see. But I did want to showcase him with other characters just so you can see how, like, other characters, if you put the right team members on, you can get those increases, right? But yeah, we're not even going to be able to get to max gauge, I think, because we're going to kill him pretty quick. This is going pretty quick here. So we got like 2 mil AoE there. Here comes the big one. This is why you want the BT. We just did 4 mil. It's literally like double the damage. So not only are you getting 2 counters, but the second one is double the damage of the first one. And yeah, Ultimecia wants to steal turns. Sure, go ahead and steal turns. See what happens. See what happens, my girl. See what happens. You just blow up and you die. keep in mind the combination of Rubicante's like defensive ability, Maria healing, Rubicante even doing a little bit of healing, like we're just staying healed this whole time, even though they are dealing HP damage to us. But yeah, I haven't touched my screen in a while. Like, oh, did the fight end? Okay, we killed one of the enemies. I guess I gotta press a button for Maria here, I guess. I gotta wake up and press a button. But these fights do tend to be very much like auto mode. Sure, let's just, I don't know, sure, LD. Because she's probably burning through all those traps really fast. This might actually kill. Alright, one more shot to finish it off. Go ahead, attack Rubicante. Oh wait, this might kill? No? Alright, yes, you gotta kill yourself on Rubicante. Here we go. So, look at how high we got the gauge. We're still on turn 4. We're almost maxed out, and we only echoed once. So imagine pairing him with other echo characters, like Zack is coming up. There's some craziness you can do here, right? So anyways, guys, there you go. That's Rubicante. My boy is crazy. He's putting in some work. Let me know what you think of this guy. Look forward to some more videos. I definitely want to showcase him some more in some different situations. So I'll probably get at least 1 or 2 other videos out on him this week. So let me know what y'all think. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all on the next one.